So this video today is suitable for owners who are about to bring their puppy home. Lots of owners can get really overwhelmed when they're about to bring a puppy home because there's tons of things on the market and owners can get really overwhelmed with this and they don't know where to start. So today we're going to look at giving you guys a puppy checklist so that you guys are well prepared for when you bring your puppy home. So it can be really useful 2 weeks before you come home to give the breeder what I call a comfort blanket. And this is simply just a blanket that you can take to your breeder and your breeder will give this to their mum and pups. And what this will do is allow the blanket to absorb all the smell from mum and pups. And when you take this home, you can give this to your puppy in their safe haven area. And what this will do is just give your puppy a sense of safety and security because they'll be able to smell their mum and siblings whilst they're acclimatising to their new environment. It can be really useful to have a hot water bottle in preparation for your puppy coming home, particularly for the first few nights. If you think about it, puppies been living with their mum and siblings since they were born, so they've always had the comfort of somebody else to sleep with. We then take them out of that environment, we take them home and we expect them to sleep on their own. So a hot water bottle can just help to stimulate that comfort. So a den area is something that I highly recommend. There's lots of benefits for these. Firstly, it gives you a place to put your puppy when you can't supervise them, because bear in mind they are still going to be into absolutely anything and everything in the early stages. Secondly, it can help with toilet training. Many puppies aren't going to toilet in their den area. And thirdly, this should act as a safe haven area for your puppy, an area where they can take themselves to settle and wind down. And this should be an area where all good stuff happens. So a den area can be in the format of a crate or a pen. I tend to use both if the house will allow it. So I'll have the crate area and then the pen around that area. Alternatively, you can simply just have a crate in a well puppy-proofed room. We also need to ensure that the den area is in an appropriate location of the house. So we don't want this in an area that is socially isolated from everybody else because our puppy is unlikely going to cope in the early days. But we also don't want it in a super busy part of the house where everyone's going to be walking past your puppy and disturbing them, and that means they're not getting any sleep. Now, of course, you're going to need food for your puppy. Now, I'm not going to delve into this complex subject because I could be here for hours discussing food. What I can advise is that you look for foods that have a higher meat content. Now, we don't want to be having foods that have a high content of cereal or wheat, for example, because a lot of dogs can become allergic to this. We're also going to need a supply of treats and plenty of them. We need to start reinforcing our puppies for desirable behaviours. Now, of course, we can use their daily food allowance as well. So you are going to need appropriate walking equipment for your puppy. You're going to need a collar because it's a legal requirement to have a collar and a tag. I tend to go for a flat collar, just something like this, really nice and basic and comfy for your puppy, okay? You need an ID tag. I tend to recommend flexi tags, a little bit like these on the collar here. I like these because they don't jangle down and get on your dog's nerves. I also recommend a Y-shaped harness for when you're walking your puppy. Something like this is really useful. Now, the reason that I like these is they're comfortable. They allow your puppy to move freely still. The harnesses that I recommend would be something like Perfect Fit or Rough Wear harness. And of course, you're going to need a lead for your puppy. I tend to recommend a 1.5 to 2 metre lead for your loose lead walk training. So something like this would be ideal. You are also going to need a long line. I would normally recommend a 5 metre length lead. And this is for when you're on field walks because they're not going to have a recall yet. So you need to manage your puppy somehow, but allow them to have some freedom as well. So you're going to need a variety of toys for your puppy. Toy play is super important to encouraging our puppies because they absolutely love it. What you're going to need to do is provide a variety of toys to your puppy in the early stages and find out what they like as an individual. What I recommend you do is get a variety before puppy comes home of shapes, sizes and textures. So I recommend getting ones with long handles, get fluffy ones, hard ones, different textures, ones that crinkle, etc. A variety of those and see what they love to work with. You are going to need a variety of chew toys for your puppies. So things like, for example, nyla bones you can leave hanging around for puppy, antler horns, as long as they're of an appropriate size, and things like these wood sticks, which you can get from the pet shop. Now, you also want to provide your puppy with edible chews, so something that's really tasty that they can consume, because these chews that I've just showed you, although yes, they're safe and we can leave them hanging around, they might get a little bit bored of them. And when they're teething, they're going to need a variety. So things like bull pizzle sticks, beef tendon, pig's ear. You can also get things like ostrich bones, which are really nice to give puppy. Lots of things like that would be really useful. So lastly, you're going to need plenty of enrichment for your puppies. Enrichment is really important in mentally tiring our puppies out, but also keeping them out of mischief when we need to get jobs done. Now, I have a whole video coming up on enrichment in a few weeks' time. So if you hold the line and look out for that video, there'll be plenty of ideas on there. However, 3 things that you can have a look for on the internet in the meantime are Kongs, lick mats and snuffle mats. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you're wanting more tips on all things puppy and how to train your puppy, then don't forget to subscribe, because there's lots more videos coming out over the upcoming months.